It was around 2019, I was chilling in bed on Netflix trying to watch something, and I happened to stumble upon a show called 7 Days Since. At the time, I had just started watching anime, so naturally I never heard anything about the show, or what was even considered quite good in the anime community. I mean, I'm watching anime on Netflix, what do you expect, right? So I started watching it just to see what the anime was about. I normally like to give animes or shows at least a first episode. Honestly, I remember it clear as yesterday. Meliodas saves Elizabeth, they revealed that he was actually one of the 7 deadly sins, and perfect time starts playing. Within the first episode, I knew straight away that I was gonna love this show, and then I watched season 3. I went and told the boys about this show, and he told me that there actually was a mobile game coming out soon to global, and actually had a JP version, and it was called 7 Sins Grand Cross. So I went off and downloaded the JP version, and honestly, within the first few minutes of playing the game, I knew this game was special. And I said to myself that I'm not going to play it, I don't want to ruin the experience here. I want to give my first experience playing on YouTube, and also playing the game on global. Which in hindsight was probably a bad thing to do. So I decided to wait, and finally on March 3rd, the game finally released, and I got straight to making content. And now it's been around 3 years since that day, and honestly I have no regrets. The journey up until this point has kind of been unreal. I'm so glad I got to experience all the hype things that happened for the last few years now. All the moments I got to experience with all of you lot, which is why I'm so glad that I did make the actual Grand Cross rewinds. Those videos kind of capture what happened within each year. And I did kind of make those because I knew one day that this would eventually all end. We will stop all playing Grand Cross, people will move on, I will move on. And I want to look back in the future and look at all the good times, all the good moments that me and my fellow YouTubers and all my fellow people that play Grand Cross during those moments, what all the hype moments actually were. They were basically a way to relive all the best moments and all the golden days of Grand Cross. We are now approaching the 4th anniversary. Honestly, this may be the last one. Maybe not for Grand Cross, but for many players, including myself, this anniversary is by far the most important one yet, and Netmarble needs to prove to us, the players, that this game can still have a future worth sticking around for, worth playing, and worth putting our time and money into. And honestly, this is all up to Netmarble. These are the only people responsible for killing Grand Cross, not Honkai Star Rail, not Genshin, not Black Clover, or any game that comes out in the future. As long as they keep the player base happy, update the game with meaningful content, or content at that, and also most importantly, release 7 Deadly Sins characters. I mean, it's the reason why we play the game. Granted, Grand Cross as a base game was by far one of the best gachas I've ever experienced, and probably will ever experience too. So I do know people out there that aren't the biggest 7 Sins fan, but like Grand Cross because of what Grand Cross actually is. And maybe too many people told Netmarble about that, which is why they started making so much OC content. Honestly, the fact that this year we've gotten more characters that are not from 7 Sins is honestly a bit ridiculous. And the way the story is going, that doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. We're always going to get collaborations. We're now getting new OC storyline and also Ragnarok storyline. So there are so many more ways to get more non-7 Sins characters than actually 7 Sins characters. But once again, that's all up to Netmarble. Black Clover is a new mobile game coming out on the exact same date as the anniversary, and if you played the actual game during the beta when it released at the end of last year, then you probably felt the same as me. Nostalgic, which is weird to say because the game obviously is new, it's not an old game. But since the game was being made and is being made by the same people, a person who made Grand Cross, who developed Grand Cross, the game we all love and play right now, the game just felt nostalgic. It felt like I was playing Grand Cross with a Black Clover skin with some minor differences. So when the game drops on the anniversary, I will be uploading this game. Now obviously that is mainly because Netmarble hasn't really given me much of a choice here, because I play Global Grand Cross, which means I have to wait 5 days because the release date for Global and JP is just terrible. So what am I supposed to do, right? Play with the new Camilla, who's a guild boss character, and play with the new Xena or Maeve character that generally no one cares about. You know, I don't really have much of a choice to do, right? In despite of all the terrible decisions Netmarble was made up until this point, granted it's only been this year, I do think last year was generally actually probably one of the best years for Grand Cross. A lot of fun characters, a lot of hype characters, good buffs towards old characters, although not that many. Generally, last year was a really good point for Grand Cross, and if we can do that again this year and even the next few years going on, the game can last a while. So, as a big 7 Sins fan, as you lot know I am, I'm still quite hopeful for the game. And I can see a future where the game is back on top. And honestly, that's mainly because of Four Knights. Four Knights is a sequel manga to 7 Sins, and Netmarble earlier this year has confirmed that they will be adapting or at least releasing characters based off the actual series here. And I do feel like that we can see the first character come early as this anniversary, but if not, definitely towards the end of the year and going forward for the next few years of obviously Grand Cross. Fortnite's Apocalypse really could be a massive expansion for Grand Cross. Not only could it bring a bunch of new content in terms of mechanics, boss fights, units, team building. That's the most important one. Team building with actual dual race characters. Honestly, it could be a massive turning point for Grand Cross where we can almost turn into a different game. You know, go back towards that pre-launch mindset. But the big question is, will they actually do this? I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and say that there's so much content coming and that we can actually get, but then you realize that Netmarble themselves hasn't done that much. I'll be honest with you, lot with 7 Days Sins, there's still an abundance of characters in the lore and in the game through PvE missions, and the fact that we haven't seen a lot of characters come to the game, which is kind of upsetting with the fact that Netmarble has gone down the path of releasing so many OC characters when it's not like they're running out of characters to make. I mean, to be honest with you lot, there's still so many characters in story modes with actual auto animations with skill effects that Netmarble could easily just sell to us as a playable character, which generally wouldn't take any effort. I mean, the characters are already basically made. All you gotta do is give them passive, a skill effect, and boom, the character's done. So it is kind of sad to see that Netmarble has gone down a route of making so many OC characters, which requires new animations, artwork, models. My biggest problem this year, despite us almost getting the same amount of content from this year to last year, is their choice, what they're focusing on. Recently, we got the new Maze collaboration, which generally was actually kind of cool. The fact that he put effort and kind of went out and made like an actual like stadium and like idol event. It's kind of cool, but to see them put effort towards this event and not something like Mashoka Tensei or even something that will be related towards Grand Cross or 70 Sins is, once again, the priorities on what they're picking has been kind of wrong all year basically. Recently, we've gotten leaks that Grand Cross are actually adding LRs to the game, and they recently talked about it in the actual dev notes where they're going to open up what seems like to be a level cap towards older characters sequentially, where characters can go to LR. This definitely could be a way of actually buffing up older characters. Wait, why does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, that's because, well, relics was that purpose. Relics were literally meant to give old passives towards older characters that needed it, but instead of that, Netmarble decided to give relics towards the characters that were already meta at the time, like Purgatory Bond, and instead give basically the worst buffs, the worst passive towards the older characters that actually needed the buffs. So, honestly, the LR system is a bit of a mix right now. It could easily be one of the best things that save Grand Cross, but it could also be one of the worst things and honestly kills Grand Cross. It's, once again, all up to Netmarble, and that's the biggest thing I want to stress right now, is that Netmarble can easily turn this game around. It's just, do they want to put effort into it? And honestly, it's a bit tricky to say, right? Because we do know that Origins is the successor to Grand Cross, and if Grand Cross dies so Origins can live, am I going to be too upset about it? I'm not too sure. I'm a big 70 Sins fan, so the fact that we supported Grand Cross all this time and we put all the money and effort into the game and it's now made basically Origins, I can't be too upset. Origins is basically Genshin just with a 70 Sins sticker over it. And honestly, the fact that I get to experience new characters, new lore, and a new story, but also the world of Britannia and all my favorite characters where I can summon them and do all of it again, basically, it's going to be fun. Grand Cross will go on probably likely for a long time because Netmarble doesn't want to shut down the servers because the game's still making pretty decent money despite all the crap we've gotten this year. But I do think this anniversary might be the last time that people have hope for the future of Grand Cross. So honestly, we have to wait and see. We are only a few days towards the anniversary, and we are now getting a countdown towards the anniversary, which we know is barn, so you know it's not much of a reveal. But regardless of what happens in the future of 70 Sins Grand Cross and also this YouTube channel, I will be there no matter what. I might be busy with other games, but I will be there until the end. So with that, boys, thank you for watching today's video. I'm still actually excited to see what's going to be coming this anniversary. We are going to be getting probably Skinny Eskinol finally in Grand Cross. Maybe not as a playable character, but it will give me some hope that it might come soon if we get to see him playable in game. We're finally going to see my favorite scene, all of 70 Sins animated. And honestly, I genuinely can't wait to see and experience it with all you lot. So boys, thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.